Todd McCall, sitting here with Advanced Hoops Director Charlie Fortney. Charlie, I think it was about 1999-2000, Susquehanna Township takes on Harrisburg Christian in a Shippensburg tournament. Well, I feel you're instrumental in putting Harrisburg Christian on the map. I want you to know that. But it was shortly thereafter, about 2001, you had this idea of using your gifts a different direction, Advanced Hoops. So talk a little bit about how today, that's 13 years later, you started what has become really a great staple here in the capital area. And how'd you talk Ms. Fortney into it?
Well, Advanced Hoops actually happened just by a series of events. I mean, Todd, like you and like a lot of the coaches in the area, my goal was to just be a high school basketball coach and maybe eventually coach college basketball. So I had the same dreams and goals of everybody else. But I think what happened with me, and I knew I had to get my teaching degree, and leaving Harrisburg Christian was a part of that process. I was offered by a public school a chance to get my teaching degree while being a teacher on an emergency certification. So as that process was playing out, I still wanted to keep coaching kids, so I started doing one-on-ones, small group training, and I think what I found over a couple of years is a snowball started building of families and kids that needed this kind of support, training on the side, working on their shooting, ball handling, and just skill areas of the game that might be missed when you're just playing on a team. And then being a former high school coach, I saw the benefit of a program like this complementing high school coaches, getting kids in the gym. And so putting all that together, the program started building from there.
Charlie, you played Division I basketball, and I noticed you picked the warmer climates to play your college basketball career.
That's where the Carolina Blue comes
from. That's right. So you're playing Division I basketball. You go on to be a coach, but you also played in the NBA Developmental League, and I remember many times here in the area, in the Harrisburg Hammerheads that you played for. But more importantly, Charlie, you're a family man. Family comes first. When did you sit down with your family and envision that this Advanced Hoops going on to be 13 years, 1,000 players, 36 AAU teams, and the development of players, both character and I would say offensively, defensively? Where did you ever see that type of full development come together in 13 years, and how did you envision it today?
Actually, it wasn't until about 2005, 2006 that I actually realized, I can do this full time. I was actually 4 or 5 years into developing the program, Advanced Hoops. I was still working toward coaching at a high school. I assisted at Central Dauphin and I was assistant coach at Penn State Harrisburg under Kurt Ream. So I stayed involved in the game. But basically, the game is all about mentorship, not just coaches to players, but other coaches to other coaches. And a coach who's currently coaching this area that I have a lot of respect for stopped me in my tracks one day. Right around 2005, 2006. I was talking to him about coaching at a local high school, applying for a local job, and he said, "I don't know why you would do that." He said, "Because you're in a great position right now in influencing kids from all schools all over the region." And he says, guys like me envy that. We would like to have that influence, and that seems to fit more your gift areas, Charlie. And the day that coach, who I look up to a lot, made that statement, he has over 500 plus wins, it hit me that he's right. I don't have to be another coach that needs to win a conference or win a league. But I'm winning by using my gifts. I'm teaching a kid how to shoot a ball. The triple threat, which is a staple of my teaching and my game and players I've coached. Just to have a program like this for the area, there's some significance in that. And that day, I think I fell into some peace. It fit my family dynamic. We have 6 kids. I want to spend time with them. A lot of people don't know that. I got a starting 5 and a sub off the bench. But Advanced Hoops fit all those needs.
So are you grooming little Charlie to take over Advanced Hoops to wear the Carolina Blue collars? Is he ready to be the next CEO of Advanced Hoops?
Oh, I don't know. He was a wrestler for a couple of years now. He's 9 years old, and he's really liking basketball. So we'll see. But he loves doing those commercials, that's for sure.
Charlie, coaches develop a philosophy. Even at home, I know your family knows you have a philosophy on how you govern your home. I walk into the gym here at Advanced Hoops, and one of the first things I see is a board with fundamental principles. Things that I know as a coach I talked about 1,000 times. Square up to the basket. Dribbling baseline causes turnovers. Can you talk a little bit about how that has advanced players? It's helped coaches in the capital area with these specific directions that you give here at Advanced Hoops.
Yeah, the 5-on-5 instructional piece in our program is one of those programs that came as the program built. And it was, again, it was just based on feedback from parents and our coaches that we wanted to get some time with the kids after teaching them how to shoot, after working on their ball handling confidence, their point guard skills. We wanted to see them in the 5-on-5 setting. So we came up with 9 rules that focus on fundamental aspects of the game. We even have spacing boxes for the kids on the court. You know, as coach, you want the kids spacing is a big thing, moving without the ball, catching and facing in the triple threat position. So that part of the program evolved out of necessity to try to teach kids how to become more fundamental and more confident with their shooting in the 5-on-5 setting. Because one of our rules is if a player catches it and they're open and they don't shoot it, it's a turnover. We will give the ball to the other team. So we found that this 5-on-5 instructional system has worked for anywhere from 5th grade all the way up to 12th graders. We do it with our top players in our program and even the younger players, because at every level, players need to clean up that part of their game, clean up the fundamentals. And it's revolutionized our entire program. We have a 5-on-5 instructional program that's very popular in every age group, boys and girls. That happens in the spring, but the fall is probably the biggest time of the year to get them ready for the season.
For people at home, a player can get individual direction, personal time, shot workouts, things like that, and then the 5-on-5, that philosophy is where you start seeing some of their principles come together on your 5-on-5 play.
Correct. I think a lot of kids just like playing the game. We all know that, and they want to play AAU basketball. They want to play on a team, and so the 5-on-5 is our way of saying, okay, if you really want to do that, we're going to do it. But we're going to do it, and we're going to make you a better IQ player. We're going to teach you better principles of the game. We don't run plays in that setting, but it's principles, and like you said, it's like your eyes lit up when you saw it. I mean, coaches that I know that have been in our gym, you look at the principles and say, absolutely, those are complementing what I'm doing with my program. So that's the goal, is to make sure we help the players become more fundamental. But in that setting, it allows us to coach the kids to be more confident, taking it to the basket, taking that shot. It's one thing to make a kid a better shooter in a workout, and that happens. Kids will get better if you're practicing your game. You have any kind of instruction, you're going to get better. But to be able to do that in a game, and to bring it out in a game-like setting, that's what those in-house 5-on-5 game instructions are all about.
Well, let's talk about aiding in recruitment. Let's talk about the big wave of the big country, the big men in the last 5, 6, 7 years. You have really been instrumental, and your program has been instrumental in developing these guys. Guys like Scotty Etherton at Northeastern, Mike Sangari at East Carolina, Ryan Hill at Bucknell. Where has Advanced Hoops come into play? Because there was many aspects, from the recruiting to becoming a better player. Can you talk a little bit about how you've had some direction in this and what Advanced Hoops has done to make these players better at the next level?
Well, for every player it's different, because some players have a need to work on their shot. Some players have a need to get on like an AAU showcase team to get out in front of college coaches. So our program has been able to provide all the aspects or some of the aspects. And with those players, we've been fortunate to be involved in all the different ways, because the goal for Advanced Hoops players in the end is that we can be in a situation where we can help a kid get recruited and get a scholarship to go play college basketball and get an education. And all those players represent that. But the workouts, guys like Scotty Etherton, the work ethic he has. I mean, walking into our program in 10th grade and learning how to shoot from outside and being able to embrace all those fundamentals, that's one thing. But then to go and work as hard as he did, hats off to the Hershey coaches for all they did with Scotty. But players like him, like a Mike Sangari, like a Matt Banis, like a Ryan Hill, and the list goes on, Logan Stumps. It's been the time in the gym. That's the difference between those players. Because we've had a lot of players walk in the gym that are high-level players and novice players. But the ones that get better, the ones that exceed the expectation, are the ones that are willing to take and put that extra time in. And that gives you satisfaction as a coach.
Totally. Let's talk. You and I both were players in high school in the 80s.
Yeah.
The shorts up to here, socks to our knees.
Tight
We
shorts.
remember some that you wore in particular. But there wasn't really anything like that. And I can think even in my own playing career, the in-between type player is what best describes me. Can you talk about, I like the human interest stories of Advanced Hoops.
Yeah.
Can you go back to all your 13 years and think about those couple players who walked through your door who maybe didn't have exactly the confidence, or they didn't have, maybe they're the ninth man coming into their team. Maybe they're not getting moved up. You know, how has that development happened? And let's just focus in on one of those human interest stories.
Well, the first person I'm thinking of right now is a player named Colin Farnham. Plays at Wilkes University.
Know him well.
Played for a coach that I have a lot of respect for, Bob Strickler from Mechanicsburg. Very good high school coach. And Bob will tell you, I'll tell you, Colin's dad will tell you that Colin wasn't in 7th or 8th grade a player you would have thought would have been an impact player in high school basketball. You wouldn't have thought this kid had a shot at playing any kind of college basketball. And I'll be surprised. I run Advanced Hoops. I've had hundreds of players come through my program, and over 70 players probably right now, boys and girls, playing college basketball. This player right here surprised me with his work ethic. Every year that he played basketball, he exceeded the expectations. And as a junior and senior at Mechanicsburg, to have high school teams playing him a box and one, just to try to keep him down because he was that big of a threat that he could beat you by himself. Testament to work ethic. 5'8", 5'9".